Just when we were getting used to pillager raids, zombie sieges are back in Minecraft 1.14.3. So these are the facts that I believe apply to a zombie siege. They happen at midnight. There's a 1 in 10 chance of them happening. I don't know if it's a particular night, like is it a full moon night that they seem to happen? Is it just every 1 in 10 randomly? Supposedly it doesn't matter the light level. Supposed to have sky access for the zombie siege. And maybe I'll think of some other questions that I want to test. So we're going to play with it and see what we can prove. I've changed my field of vision for most of the filming. It's kind of warped. It's as big as it can be so we can see the whole village. I have night vision so we can all see what's going on. And if you see this, the time is in front of me. That means I'm holding Facts Data Pack. I'll include a link. Remember that I've got night vision going. So this is in fact midnight, and I have a comparator clock that keeps resetting the time to just a little before midnight over and over and over. Now it's setting it to the same midnight over and over and over, and it's early game. So I believe local difficulty would be low at this point. Did I think to check it? No, but it can't be too high. I just opened the world. And right about now, in this little oval, we see what might be our first siege. It's 5 zombies. Again, local difficulty would be low. There's 3 next to them. I can't decide if this is a siege or not. It doesn't seem nearly as imposing as the next one. This is a successfully filmed zombie siege. You look in this area right here, and you will see one pop into existence. Now remember, this is exactly midnight, and they don't pop from just one block the way I think they did when I used to play on Xbox back in the day. And then we can see what a zombie siege sounds like. I believe if you were in this village, you would know that one had happened. I'll turn that down a little bit. They're pretty focused on that guy, working with teamwork, and then they head to the next guy that's in range, chase after him a little bit. They are so close, they're actually making little lines. It's pretty impressive. But then after they get this second guy, man, I could speed it up, but let's face it, it's kind of fun to watch a siege. After they get the second guy, there's not another villager in range of them, so they kind of disperse and wander around, not in a clump. So their AI is obviously not to stay in a clump, but to get to the nearest villager. And when one is very close, it looks like they have the same, like their thinking is one, but it really doesn't seem to be that way. Now, I'd love to see if they bang down a door, but this villager just came right back out. So, no telling. So now the villager's gone, and some of the guys got in the house, the door's now shut, but there's no more villagers within whatever range, and they're kind of wandering around aimlessly. So, this seems to be the nature of the zombie siege. So I've gone to another village now, and I've lit it up. Everything is fully lit. There's only 1 bed, 1 villager, and 1 composter right there where you can see the little yellow running away. Ah! So we've now seen that they do, in fact, spawn when it's lit. So this next little experiment, I did a glass ceiling because they're not supposed to be able to spawn. The sieges are not supposed to be able to spawn when there's a roof. So I thought a transparent roof would be the ultimate test. And I let it run for a really long time. That's all I can say. And there was never a zombie siege. And now I've taken the glass roof off. I want to see if they're going to spawn any other places. And over on those buildings, they spawn around on the ground and on the roofs, and obviously I cut a little roof off when I removed the glass, but they spawned all around, so they do not spawn just on one level. Although, to be fair, those roofs may be not lit. So I light those up and check again. And sure enough, we get another siege. But this time, it's in the same place that it was earlier. So did I light up the roofs and make this place more desirable? Do they tend to be in the same place? More testing is needed. So what I do is I go out in the boonies and I set up a platform. This is perfectly lit. Remember, I've got night vision. So here's our platform. We're doing the night over and over, and there's our first siege. It's pretty big. Heading in for the zombie. All I have is a bed and a villager. So that siege happened. Now we get another siege in the same, well, let's say quadrant. Kill them off. And how'd you escape? Kill you too. And then in this same quadrant, we get a third siege. So I'm beginning to think maybe there is something to it. This is the northwest quadrant, but maybe it's my position. So I move to see what happens, and the next siege is in the northwest quadrant again. Oh, of course I picked the white bed, which is the hardest one to tell that I actually moved, but there we go, dead zombies. So I'll go over here to the side and do it one more time, and the siege happens in the southwest quadrant. So I have no explanation for this. It's too small of testing for it to be anything, but they definitely don't always happen in the same location. Two things that did surprise me. It seems to be the same size siege. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. Same size siege, whether you're in easy, normal, or difficult mode, and a village is not defined only by a villager and a bed. It's also defined by a villager and his workstation. This is only a villager and a lectern, and the siege still happened. So that might be of interest. So I've been trying to get a little rest with my buddy here after doing all this testing, so I want to go over what I've learned. Number one, zombie sieges are a thing in 1.14.3. Light levels do not matter. A roof will prevent them, even a transparent roof. Okay, I'm like 90% sure on that one. Midnight is when they happen, which is 18,000 ticks, if you're interested in doing the testing. One thing I did find out is that if you're doing the testing and you do the midnight over and over, you need to throw a little daylight in there. That seems to make them spawn faster. You get about the same number of zombies, whatever difficulty level you're playing, and one villager in a bed or one villager and his workstation will constitute a village. So protect your villagers, protect your mending books. You can thank me later. This has been Grandma.